Just a quick forward. At the end, I create and print quite an important piece of the rain gutter grow system. So if you're into 3D printing and want to see that and only that, there'll be timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to the parts that you're interested in.
Welcome back to Hoochos. Now you're gonna have to forgive the shirt. This is some silicone that I got on it in the space bucket build, and I'm doing a lot of work today, so it's now the Hoochos work shirt. And in keeping with the theme of the video, shitty shirts, here's a little situation I found myself in earlier in the week. It might not be immediately obvious to you because you're not fine-tuned into this environment, but there's no sound. There's no running water, and that's worrying. I don't know why not. So I haven't even had time to put my uniform on. Let me just show you how dry it is. So you can obviously see that none of the channels are running, which isn't good. But what's really worrying is like how dry this is. Like that is, I can scratch the algae off the bottom. So this has been dry for quite a while, and I'm pretty sure that my saving grace has been these rockwool cubes. So that's definitely interesting. But these rockwool cubes, they won't stay moist forever, but they have kept all of my lettuce alive while the NFTs failed. So now I've just got to figure out what's gone wrong. I've traced the power to my shed, and it's on in the shed. So it should just be, I fiddled around with this box last night maybe. Let's have a look. That power's on. So, must have knocked it. Okay, that's good. So the pump's not failed. All right, we're all good. I thought the pump had failed, and it's running now. Yep, we're back. So crisis averted. So my number one lesson here is the rockwool actually saved all of my lettuce. So in the puck system where there's absolutely no media, I think these lettuce would have died. But with the rockwool in the system, and because of the young age of the plants and their low need for nutrients and water, I think that also helped to save the plants. And I don't think these larger plants, see, this one's actually drooping a lot because its need for water was, yeah, see, look at that. That is, well, floppy. And that's because this block is completely dried out just because of its nutrient and water requirements. That's dry as. Has this even started running? This hasn't even started running yet. Why is that? I was gonna let it go to seed. I'll continue to let that one go to seed actually, because I do want some red lettuce seeds. So put it back in. Hopefully it will survive. All right, as you can hear, the pump's running again, which is fantastic. And there's no real damage that I can see to any of the plants. They're doing swimmingly. So today you're just going to follow me around on my day. First up, because this is going to be in chronological order, I actually need to dry out a ton of filament for the 3D printer because I've had a gap in 3D printing and it's just been sitting there through all of this rain absorbing moisture. So let's do that. So these printers have been working pretty much non-stop to pump out Hooch buckets and Hooch adapters that I will be putting into the rain gutter grow system. I did have a printer problem that slowed me down and I stopped printing for a while, and now because I've stopped printing I haven't got a good turnover of filament, and this stuff's been sitting on the roll for half a week and it's been raining, which means that the humidity's been up and the print filament tends to absorb water because it's hygroscopic. This can actually cause fails in your prints. So before I start them up again creating stuff, I'm going to dry the print filament. Now you can dry them in an oven at about 80 degrees Celsius, or you can use a dehydrator, which is what I'm going to do. So to remove the print filament from the 3D printer, I've heated them up. I've preheated them to 240, which is PETG's print temperature. And I've actually cut these already because I cut them to size so that I can just string them through like that. But because they're already heated up, we can remove the filament and it doesn't snap off within the actual printer. And I can take these two filament to the dehydrator. The reason I'm doing this is because later in the video I'm going to design end caps for the rain gutter grow system, so you can just print them at home rather than spending like a heap of money on fiddly pieces that you then stick together to create ends for the rain gutter grow system. Okay, so to dry out the filament, you take your filament and you just throw it into a dehydrator. Now you can do this with an oven, but this is designed specifically to dehydrate things. Now we can just throw in our filament. Now I like to do batches of filament because these aren't the cheapest things in the world to run. Set the timer to 6 hours and let it run. All right, next thing on the agenda today, we're gonna make up a frame to go around our potato patch, because obviously I can't keep building that mulch up without it falling off the side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna build walls that can be lifted on and lifted off at the end of each grow. And then it'll allow me to hill up the potatoes more so than they are right now. Let's cut the timber and put it together. Definitely not a carpenter. Is the width different on each side? It is too. This thing is not coming apart. And now for the thing I'm good at, gardening. Well, I guess it remains to be seen. And I'm now just replenishing this nutrient because we have had a bit more rain and I really want whatever's wicking up to be full strength nutrient, because they are growing really fast, which is fantastic. Chuck that in there and that'll fill up and we're good to go. All right, so these are the Hooch buckets and I've just found a problem. That is an infestation. It's only on this one plant for now. I don't know how it got in here. But it's all throughout that plant. It's moved over onto this leaf of this plant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully remove that. I'm going to put it with this one. And I'm going to remove this whole pot from the greenhouse. And just be careful not to knock any off onto any of the other plants. Oh, that's such a shame. As you can see, look at all the roots coming out the bottom. That's like a really healthy root structure. And as you can see, I was completely wrong. These are capsicum plants. I've never been happier to be wrong though, because that's a healthy capsicum plant. As you can see, the Hooch buckets are doing really well. So this is where I've just been raising my seedlings, and I'm gonna have a new system for you very soon, and I'm gonna create a way of automatically watering all of your seedlings from below. So I'm just adding in, this is straight out of the NFT res, because there's already water in all of the cubes. The little bit of nutrient solution that this has in it should wick up from below and give probably a half strength nutrient to these little fellas. And the NFT res already has, I think it's 0.8 strength nutrient in it. I actually should check that. 1.2, it's actually perfect. So that nutrient level raised since I last checked it, which was when I changed the res last. So you actually saw that. So that's the perfect strength nutrient for what I'm growing, which is, you know, leafy greens, and for using this side as a nursery too. So good news. And this is the lettuce that I planted last time and it's doing really well. I just love COS. It just responds so well to NFT. And these guys are doing all right too. So as you can see, I've got a fairly even spread of red and green lettuce, which I'm really happy about. And here's an interesting one that I didn't think would go too well, but has just, you know, done really well. This is thyme. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a good amount of algae right there. And it's actually going fairly well in the NFT. I've been using this for, I had pumpkin soup last night, which pumpkin and tomato soup, obviously, because I've got to use up all those tomatoes. And I was able to just come and grab some thyme from the NFT, which is fantastic. It's a good time. And our lettuce from the other day has bounced back. So this is going to go to seed, or is already going to seed. It's bolting right now. And hopefully we'll be able to collect the red lettuce seeds so that I have a consistent supply of the red lettuce seeds. So I've obviously got a spot now in the rain gutter grow system, and in that spot I'm going to put in some eggplant, which is over in my nursery NFT. Also, I'm going to remove some of these strawberry crowns just weren't alive. So I'm going to remove these, and I'm going to put in their place some eggplant. Choose the healthiest eggplant, why not? And here we go. There is definitely some algae in that system. Get rid of that. That's the eggplant that's just been in the nursery NFT. So I'm just going to pop it straight into my Hooch bucket, and we're good to go. And because this one's dry, I'm just going to water it in, and then we can add it in. And I just want to show you, like, have a go at these strawberries. How healthy are they? That is amazing. I'm so happy with how this system is going. Pop that back in. This is fantastic. I'm really happy with it. And because this one's Adena and those ones are Adena, I'm actually going to add this one into that bucket over there. That means I've got an extra spot. So I'll just gently pull this out, and you can have a look. So that's the old roots there, and you can see the new root growth that's happening with these strawberry crowns. And that's fantastic to see. So I'll just pop that in here, fill around. Now I've got an extra space. So I can have my whole top row as large fruiting plants, and my whole bottom row can be strawberries. I can just pop another healthy eggplant into this one. Actually, you can see, this is probably why you don't want to use the transparent Hooch buckets. You can actually see the algae growing on the outside there. So this is probably not a great idea. Oh, you know what? We'll just let it run, and we'll see how they go. This is interesting. Haven't noticed this before. The buckets are overflowing on the return pipe, and I wonder why. How are they backing up? This isn't low enough. Oh, this is too low. This is too low. I need to raise that. And once it's raised, so I'm just going to raise that. Right, that's raised. Should be fine now. So the problem with that leaking out isn't that the res would empty, because it would just top up from the water tank that gets regularly refilled from the rain on my roof. But the problem is that the stuff that leaks out is nutrient solution, so it will dilute a lot faster in that res out there, which isn't good, obviously. So I'm glad I fixed that. Now, it wouldn't have affected it too much because it only waters, I think, 2 or 3 times a day, and it was only dripping. I probably only would have lost like 200 mils per time, but still it's 200 mils that the plants didn't get to use. And we're on, yeah, about 1.2 EC. I can probably up that. I'll probably get it back up to 2. So I'll add in probably 20 grams of the diamond tea and the NitroCal. All right, so I'm just gonna add these in. I'm leaving it running. I'll just let it run through the buckets. So it's at 2.8 to 3.2 right now, and it's dropping 2.8 to 2.4. So that'll drop to about 2, I reckon. And I'm okay with that. So it's the next day. I'm lazing around in my Trachydax because
Yesterday I just got on the beers with the missus and had a relaxing afternoon because I deserve it. The dehydrator's finished, the filament's all dry, so we can now go about designing the ends for the rain gutter grow system. I'll just show you how I store the filament in the meantime. So this is an IP67 waterproof storage box that fits all of the filament, and the reason I use this is because it's completely airtight. This has a seal around the internal of the bucket, and in this I store the filament, and it stops it from getting any moisture content because I put desiccant in it. So I store all my open filament in this box with desiccant. That means that when I inevitably open it like I just did, and it lets in however much humidity is in the air, once I close it, that desiccant will actually take the humidity out of the air in the box, and it will stop it from going into the filament. That's how I store my filament, and that's how I'll store it until such time as I'm ready to print the things that I'm about to design. So let's get to designing the ends for the rain gutter grow system so you don't have to purchase 1,000 bits from the hardware store. And I just want to let you know that I'm currently in the process of working with a patron who's sent me out the 2 different vinyl pipe sizes that you have in the USA, and I'm going to be working on those vinyl pieces to bring out a 3D printable end cap for those as well. And she's actually working with a makerspace to create CNC PVC pieces that she'll then have on Amazon, so that if you don't own a 3D printer, you can just purchase them for a reasonable price, and all that money will be going towards a charity that she's involved with. So I'll have a video on that very soon. All right, let's get to making these ends. There it is. Oh, this prints really well. This is the second print I've done just to make sure that it's a solid print. And I'm really happy with the stability of the print. This is printed with the Cura vase setting, which is actually, hang on, vase vase. In Cura, it's called Spiralize Outer Contour, and it will give you what I think is going to be a waterproof print. We can test that out now actually. But first let me just show you how it fits onto the rain gutter grow system. So I will be making a version of this for the vinyl pipes as well, once the samples arrive to me that have been sent out, and it will be identical to this. And those designs will all be available, as well as this one, through my Patreon. So if you want this design, jump onto my Patreon and it'll be uploaded by the end of this video. So that just fits into and onto the end of the rain gutter grow system like so. The dimensions that this is meant to fit onto is a 105mm by 55mm square PVC pipe. I've actually printed 2 of these like that, and it holds your float valve like so. And you'd obviously just cut into your rain gutter grow system the hole for your float valve. This saves you about 2 different parts that cost about just under $10 Australian, and this can be printed with as little as 22 grams of filament. So that's a huge saving. So I'm really excited to share this part with you guys. Now let's just test that it's waterproof. All right, so to test that it's waterproof, I'm just gonna fill it up, I guess.
There's no water escaping that part at all. And worst case scenario, you could always use epoxy if you didn't get a complete seal. But with that spiralized outer contour, the way that works is that it actually lays down the filament in a single bead. It never stops, and the only place that I've programmed in a stop on this print is on the top, where it does not matter. So as you can see, the bottom of the print is completely dry. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Hoochos. I was really excited to bring this idea to life for you guys, and I'm excited for you guys to use it. So happy hydroponicking, and I'll see you next time on Hoochos.
I walk the streets.